Greetings, everyone. I have a record player, turntable, I guess you'd call it a record player, to repair here and maybe do a review on. It has internal speakers, and it's a 1x1 branded record player. It sounds pretty good. I mean, it's not going to appease the nose in the air audio types. It may not be as good as a decent set of bookshelf speakers, but it's way better than a lot of that stuff out there with built-in speakers. But anyhow, it needs some TLC stuff from China. How long is it going to last? Well, my brother, when he passed away last summer, it's one of the things he left me, along with 800 to 1,000 LP records, books, cassettes, CDs. These are the LPs that I have. I had a lot of the music already, or I wasn't interested in it, but I kept some of it. I also have these compilations, these K-Tel type things, Ronco, K-Tel. Kind of like those. From the 70s to the 80s. So I got a stack of those. And this tote here just full of CDs. I ripped quite a few of them already so I can have the additional music in the car and on my music player and things like that, but there's just layers of them in here, just tons of it. I didn't rip everything. Some stuff I had already or wasn't interested in, but I ripped quite a few of them. Okay, so the problem with this thing is the motor speed. It goes up, it goes down, and it flutters. It's just all over the place. They use these chintzy little Chinesium motors in it. Really nice looking turntable, but it's just Chinesium quality parts. So yeah, let's see if I can give you a demonstration here. Okay, how about some Black Sabbath, Master of Reality? Can't go wrong with the first 3 albums there. I need my right hand here to manipulate this thing. So, let's drop the needle here. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's really wavery and it was awful. Sometimes it's a little fast, but even sometimes it gets slow, and then it gets, like I said, it gets kind of fluttery. So yeah, I tried a few things. I tried oiling the motor spindle, and tweaking the little controls, and the speed controls. The platter itself spins fine. You take the belt off, it'll spin down for a couple minutes, so that's not the problem. So I did purchase a new motor here, and I'm gonna pop that thing in there and see what it does. I found this on eBay. I think I paid like $8. It has this connector. I have to desolder that because the wires are soldered directly in, and there's a plug on the opposite end. So just one of these chintzy cheap Chinese motors. I even on the other one I tried soldering a capacitor across the power leads because I scoped it and there was quite a bit of noise. I was thinking, maybe it's screwing up this little controller chip, but like I say, none of that helped. So it's going to go 3 ways here. It's either just going to work, or it'll work for a while and start wigging out again, or it's just going to be, same old problems. Okay, over on the bench here, let's take a quick look. Like I say, it's a decent entry-level model. It's got the mat here with a aluminum platter, adjustable counterweight, cueing lever, 45, 33 speed, and Bluetooth mode, so you can pair it to use the speakers for another device. Volume and your power button also operates as a start and stop. And of course has separate woofer and tweeters on each side. I always kind of question why you would have stereo, because the speakers are so close together. You're not going to get any stereo effect beyond a certain distance, half a meter or so. You don't really hear much stereo. But anyhow, I'm going to switch the motor out. So what I have to do here is take the belt off, just like that, and then lift this off. I can't do it with one hand, so just grab on each side and pull straight up, take the platter off. Okay, I have the platter removed. Has a decent bearing here. If you take that screw out, see, that holds it. It's got this flange here. It keeps it from coming all the way off. But there's a ball bearing inside there. But anyway, to get this motor out, I just remove these 3 screws, and the motor will drop down inside. And we just flip it over and take the back off here. So let me do that. Okay, the motor is off. It's down inside. Make sure not to lose these little rubber isolators. I just use a magnet to hang onto the screws. Make sure the tone arm is latched into position so it doesn't flop around, because I need to flip this thing over. Okay, I flipped it over using a towel so I don't scratch up the dust cover. And on the bottom there is this port. So you have to remove this screw, and there's a screw holding these legs on that holds the cover on. So you have to peel off the little rubber feet on each side and just remove the screw. And there's a chromed plastic part of the foot, and then there's a black disc. Make sure you don't lose that. So we'll set that aside there and open the cover. And we're in. And as you can see, there's not much to it. It is a manually operated turntable, so there's not the auto return mechanism or anything like that. But this little board back here, that's where it all happens. There's a ribbon cable going to the motor here. And that's where I tried some things. I put a little cap on there. One thing I didn't check is the power going to the motor, if that was stable or not. I suspect that it's fine, but in electronics you never make assumptions. But I'm going to break my own thoughts there, my own rule, and I'm just going to assume that the power coming to it is okay, and it's the motor itself. That's why I'm going to change it with this one. So obviously I've been inside this thing before, but you see this motor has this little terminal connector block on there, while this one is just soldered directly. So I'm going to have to desolder this and solder this connector on. Now to get this out, just carefully unplug it there. Let's see, does it have a latch I have to undo? Oops. It should just just unplugs. Notice any differences here? Well, the pulleys are different in size, so I'm not sure how that's going to work out. Okay, the switch has been made. The wires moved over to the new motor. These come off fairly easy. You just put a screwdriver under and just pry it up like that. I have some glue. Looks like they were affixed with some sort of adhesive, so this should just press fit on there. Yeah, just pushes right on. I won't push it all the way on because it was sitting a little higher on the other motor. Let's put it in and see what happens. Okay, putting the motor in. Seems a little easier to set it up on its side since you need access to the back and to get the screws in. So, you can hear it, it's pretty noisy. 45, so it's switching speed. When I put some load on it, it quiets down. So hopefully it's not going to be noisy. Well, there's one way to find out. Okay, we'll do a speed check here. Unfortunately, my bench lights are powered from DC, so I don't get any strobe effect from the lights. But I do have this LED bulb here that I notice it flickers quite a bit, even with my bare vision. And I don't know if it works with this camera or not. It's hard to tell, but it's running really slow. So I'm going to have to stick a screwdriver inside the motor. They have these little ports in the back. You can adjust the speed. So let me do that here. Okay, I got the speed, which is the wider band there. You can see it's pretty much steady. There's a slight crawl to the right, but you know, it's good enough. By the way, you can get these strobe discs online. You just look for a phono strobe disc and there'll be a PDF file. You just print it out and there you go. I have this LP from 1958. I think that's a year after they went with the standardized Westrex phonograph groove standard for stereo sound. I don't know how it all went down, but something like that. I'm not sure if this will tickle the copyright detection algorithm, but I'll just have to find out. See what this sounds like. Alright, you get the idea. So yeah, that's the repair and kind of a quick overview of this unit. It does have 2 line outs if you want to use your own separate amplifier. Of course, it does have the Bluetooth, powered with a 12-volt wall wart that it comes with. I think it comes with a 45 RPM adapter. There's no real place to store it though. Would I buy this thing if I were looking for one with integrated speakers? Yeah, I would consider it, but I'd also want to see what else is out there. For me though, I would go for a turntable with an outboard amplifier, separate speakers and everything. But that's just my opinion. But it does have pretty good sound. I mean, it's not like those crappy little Crosley cruiser players that sound like an AM transistor radio. Much better sound from this thing. Well, I played a few records on it already, and I wouldn't say that the speed is perfect, but it's far, far better than it was with the defective motor. So I'll wrap it up here, and thank you for watching.